Brit Asia Podcast. Rami,
Hi.
Hunterz,
Yo.
you moved, have you? You're back again.
I'm back again.
Aridika,
What's up? What's
what's going
up?
on? What's going on? Yo, so real stories, real topics, right? This is something that gets brushed under a lot in our community, right? And we're talking about the South Asian view of what a woman should look like. And this in terms of body shape, colorism. This is, clothing, music videos, and most importantly, man, fashion. So Rami, you run Lisha K Collections, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little about Lisha K Collections.
We are a clothing brand that is involved with a lot of personal styling,
Yeah,
connecting with a person's inner soul to bring out their confidence.
yeah,
It's not just about selling a product, and it's about everybody is welcome, everyone's individual,
yeah.
and accepting that.
And you guys, you look after brides, families, all that kind
Everybody,
of stuff.
we do, from the brides and grooms' parents,
Yeah,
personal styling, all the way through to sisters, sister-in-laws, bridesmaids. Everybody else that's attending the wedding is
Yeah.
also a priority.
Yeah.
Who's styling them? We also do all the non-kishak stuff.
yeah,
We pack it, we process it, we write you lists, we make sure everything's covered, from the non-kishak to the man manod kapre, the bari
Yeah.
kapre, the dej kapre. We do all of it.
So you're not like a one-stop shop of you come in, you get your product, see you later. You want...
Well,
you,
we are a service that
Yeah.
people go to India for.
Yeah, yeah,
People go to India to do wedding shop.
yeah.
Now it's becoming harder for people to go to India,
Especially with COVID. You
especially
ain't
with
flying now.
COVID, but also a lot of people have nowhere to stay now. A lot of our elders have passed on, or property's been sold and there's nowhere to go and it's become expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
So what we do is we provide that service here, so there's no stress about how are we going to go,
Yeah,
where are we going to get our clothes from. It's quite a big process, Punjabi weddings, with all the other stuff that we do. Punjabis are very particular about their style, very particular about their fabric, and quality of fabric, and purest fabric is what we prize ourselves on.
How's COVID hit you guys? Because look, the wedding industry's been hit big time, right? Like,
Severely.
not even as an artist, for example, performances, that's not happening in the UK.
No.
Have you been hit badly in terms of...
Very badly.
And is that something you're happy to talk about? Because a lot of companies ain't gonna open and be like, yeah, we've been hit. They'll kind of sugarcoat it and be like, no, we're fine, we're still selling. Da, 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 da. Like,
No.
you have been hit.
Nobody's selling because nobody's buying, because nobody has any events to go to. We are not in India. We dress differently here.
Yeah.
We are British Asians. We are not Indians who wear, even our elder generations wear English clothes now because of comfort and warmth, because of our climate's different. So we only wear the clothing when we have an event. If we have no events, there's nowhere to go.
And do you kind of worry, like, are you government saying normality returns at June 14th, something like that? Do you think that normality is going to return, or do you think we've got a long way to go to recovery?
I think people have been scared to quite a severe degree, even if they do open up.
Yeah,
I don't think weddings, people are going to open up to the capacity that they were.
yeah, yeah.
And even if people are invited, I think there'll be hesitancy in attendance. And there's going to be a complete opposite extreme where people go absolutely crazy
Yeah.
and now realise the value of everything behind our culture,
Yeah.
and want to remain connected,
Yeah.
because our Punjabi relationships especially are very, very powerful on a different level.
Yeah.
And those kind of events, they keep us connected and keep us grounded between ourselves.
No, sure. Like, Hunterz, just as an artist, right? So do you worry as an artist that, because realistically, most of the money you guys make is through performances.
2020 was really bad. So not just the Asian scene. I lost a lot of shows with UB40. So I'm performing with UB40.
Yeah.
I featured on their album. We had nothing. So what I done was I just locked myself in the studio and prepared. But luckily I got, as I mentioned on previous episodes, I got picked up by Rudy and the team. And they've come and gave me the support. But it was a bad year, so I can imagine what you're going through. And as for coming out of COVID, I'm like yourself, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Like, because we're worried about, are they going to close us down again, just out of the blue?
Yeah.
Just when we start business.
No, sure. And just, Ram, you mentioned things about culture, right? Let's just go straight into it. I don't want to beat around the bush. I want to go straight to the nitty-gritty stuff, right? The farmers' protest is going on.
Yes.
But not a lot of these boutiques are supporting the farmers' protest. Like, you've openly kind of posted stuff up, you've shared stuff, etc. on your page. But a lot of these bigger so-called companies. I'll use bigger in inverted commas because
Yeah, they are.
We've spoken about it offline. Like there's a lot of fake followers, fake likes, etc.,
Yes.
etc. And again, Hunterz, we've spoken about it as well. Your followers don't necessarily measure success. You know what I mean? Like, why do you think the industry is so scared to support things like the farmers' protest? This is the same culture, for example, that they're kind of making money off of. It's the weddings, you know. It's not just the Punjabi farmers; it's farmers across all India. Why do you think people are so scared to kind of share the farmers' protest? Are they worried that their brand might get, tarnished?
I don't know. I haven't actually directly faced it with any other companies.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of people that I have actually worked with
Yeah.
have posted stuff. Clothing wise, I can say quite openly, I haven't seen anybody else post anything about.
Yeah.
It's all been makeup artists or models, etc., where it affects us personally.
Yeah.
This has got nothing to do with us being a brand.
Yeah.
That we can then this is our platform about who we are as well as individuals, and that is the reason why I post about it, because it affects me personally.
Yeah.
I'm a farmer's daughter. If it wasn't for that farmer, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be standing on my own 2 feet with my confidence that I have today, with all the highs and lows that come with life. And I still have a connection there.
Yeah.
I still have property there.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to go back there. And it's all in effect. This is all going to die out. I think they don't post about it because either they don't know enough about it or they think it's to do with Punjabis.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect us because there aren't actually, in the clothing side, that many Punjabis out there.
Yeah. That's a pretty big point. Like Punjabi, I think you mentioned that, like Punjabi clothing companies, right? Like a lot of names you see, they're like, Pakistani, they're maybe like Arab, etc., etc. Why is there not a lot of Punjabi kind of clothing companies out there? And like, just for yourself, like, you do a lot of model shoots, etc., etc. Do you kind of get like attracted to a certain style of clothing or what's trending, or would you be more comfortable being like, there's a Punjabi company for me?
That's a weird question. I would be attracted to a Punjabi company because it's like, that's where I'm from. I'm Punjabi. I would want to rep it, but it depends really.
Yeah.
I don't know. What were you saying?
Like the question is like, there's not a lot of Punjabi clothing companies out there.
Yeah.
Like, why is that? You know what I mean?
We don't support our own simply, and we don't want to see Punjabis at the top. We've discussed
And
this in
you've
plenty of
mentioned this-
podcasts.
We're actually rubbished off in the industry.
Really?
Yes.
think so?
That's bad.
And the thing
That is
you
the,
wouldn't
That's
expect-
bad.
you wouldn't
there's
think
no
that, yeah.
sugarcoating it. We
Yeah.
are completely rubbished off. I've experienced it myself. I've done catwalks. I've done various different things in wedding exhibition style. Even I started off my own business with pop-up events just to test the waters to see if I'm on the right track about what it is that I do. Is there a demand for it? But when I bring the raw Punjabiness into it, there's been what do you want to do that for? Why would you want to do that? But that's me. That's who we are. I'm not going to pretend to be somebody that we're not, because I am bringing Punjab here, because I can't go there, and we need to stay connected. But that's what our entire business is about. It's about, I'm bringing the taste of Punjab to you. I'm ticking that box where you don't need to stress that we are here. We can provide that service. And I am providing that service. And those that go through the entire wedding process with me, they understand it. But I myself have personally felt very, very, like I say, I'm quite frank, to be honest, rubbished off for being Punjabi and for being open about it.
By
and
your
saying,
own?
yes, by your own as well.
We speak about this in the music side, right? Like, we don't support each other. You would not think, come on, man, it's clothing.
In clothing,
Like,
yeah.
why is clothing like so kind of, let's just rubbish them off, let's not support each
It's
other?
not fashionable to put a salwar kameez on a catwalk.
Yeah.
I have done it.
Mm.
And I done it to test how does the public receive it.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in what the people that do the exhibitions or run the catwalks or choreographers, whoever they are, whoever's doing the sound, I'm not interested in what they think. My interest is the direct public who I serve.
Yeah.
That is whose opinion matters to me. Now, when I've put salwar kameez on there, I've put saris on there, something that a mother of a bride could wear. I've put trouser suits on there, pajama suits on there. I'm the only one that's walked away that's sold out of every item I put on the catwalk within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I've sold 4 while I'm there, getting calls from clients because we've gone live, and just to see what the opinion is. I didn't go in there to sell the product, to be honest. That was just a bonus. I was actually very shocked that, and I had people coming up to me, and from all different backgrounds. There was Pakistani ladies there, there was Hindu ladies there was Gujarati ladies there, and they were like, wow, thank you so much, somebody's thinking about us.
Awesome.
Because you go to the shops, nobody is thinking about us, everybody's chasing that one bride. And I said, well, I'll be honest with you, that one actual bride for her wedding day doesn't interest me. It's everybody else that's going to the wedding. If you're attending your friend's wedding, you're going to your brother's wedding, you're going to your sister, I want to know what you're wearing. I want to know how you look. You know, everybody deserves to look and feel good. And if you don't feel good, you won't look good. I do it the other way around. It's about connecting with that's what connecting with your inner soul is, understanding you as an individual. But this is what the public is looking for.
Yeah.
That so-called high street shop that has the big brand, that has 25,000 followers or whatever it is, which doesn't even interest me, but they're not listening to what the public wants, what the customer wants. I'm not there for the one-hit wonder. Even religious ceremonies, anything, I'm here. You know, this is what we do. But there's so many things that we shop for as Indians. Just generally.
Like you are like going against the grain completely. So, and again, with music. Like,
I love that, by the way.
Yeah, like going against the grain is a dangerous thing, but it's working for you.
That's me.
Do you not worry? Do you not worry, for example, I'm going against the grain, the industry as a whole is going to kind of, you know, look at me like, why is she doing that? Like,
Shall I let you in a little secret?
Yeah.
The problem is when they come at me with that animosity about why am I going against the grain and want to fight me against it, it's only grounding my feet stronger and making me come back at them harder.
Yeah. No, that's an awesome attitude. Like
that is what I do.
Like we spoke to Missy D, didn't we?
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
She was kind of like an ex-radio presenter. She was kind of, the industry looked at her like she's the bad person for being different and being a success.
But she's being herself, right?
Yeah. That was it.
That's right. The problem. When you want to be yourself and you're happy to be yourself, and you're happy in your own skin, flaws and all, we all have them. We're all human beings. It's human nature.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, for being yourself, because you're not fitting inside that box and following my leader of everything else that everyone else is doing. My entire family, even extended, is very, very individual. So we're a really, really big family. Yeah. So where this industry gets this idea from that this is what the public wants, or this is the way people are, it's not. It's not the way people are. We've gone through really hard times with COVID. Yeah. I'm sure every human being on the face of this earth has gone through some sort of self-realisation or journey about themselves that they've discovered. Life is too short. You know, be yourself, be happy with who you are, and we're all different and we're all individual, and there's no harm in that. Yeah. We can't all be the same. We might share some views, but it's okay to be yourself. And, you know, whether you've got stretch marks or you're darker skin tone or you're fairer skin tone or you're too thin or you're curvaceous or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. We're all here.
I think that's a big point, right, is image. Like, and again, in music as well, like we spoke about it so many times, right, is like everything you see in magazines is a size 0 or size 1. You're never seeing real women, and real women is your curves, your plus size, etc. Size 6, size 4.
Everyday women.
Yeah. Like, why do you think? And like both your industries have the kind of same attitude of any like a music video, for example. The model has to look a certain way. The catwalks, you got to have models looking a certain size, etc. Why is that change not there? Like, why are people not understanding that that's not real life? You know what I mean? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
It's something that I've constantly got an issue with, is models are too thin.
Yeah.
Indian clothes especially. English clothes you can get away with. You can wear them flowy. Indian clothes need to be fitted a certain way. And the more curvaceous the woman is, in my opinion, they look better. Yeah. Because you've got such beautiful fabric and it really shows it off nicely. Really enhances that beauty of a woman's figure. A woman goes through such a big journey in her entire life. Yeah. That I'm not saying men don't, men do, but women go through so many changes from puberty to hormones to becoming wives and mothers and pregnancy. Each pregnancy changes your body, it changes it, it stretches it, it brings it back in, you know, gives you stretch marks that you may not have had before. People spend a lot of time hiding them. You know, I'd say embrace them, you know, because for even myself, for example, for each stretch mark I have, whether it's on my arms or legs or whatever it is, I've had a child.
Yeah, it tells a story.
And I look at that child and I just think, wow, you gave me that. You know, if you weren't here, there were so many things that I wouldn't have gone through. It's a journey. Life is a journey, a huge journey. And these things are all part of that journey. We can't stay the same. So I think it's very, very regimented in the viewpoints and the way that it all is. Even in music videos, I see women are not even styled. They're not even seen as a priority. Men are there with all their Versace clothes on and everything else. I mean, a Gucci belt and everything else. What about the poor lady that's standing there?
She's used as a prop.
It's, you know...
I agree 100%. I landed on a video, my biggest song, really, and I didn't know what was going on. I landed there as a young artist, and I'm on a beach with all these women. Obviously, I was having fun. I was chilling. I was messaging my friends. But also, every video that I've done, I've remained friends with all of them.
Yeah.
Their boyfriends would come to pick them up, and they all turn. In fact, the funny thing happened to me. I arrived. Just a side story. I arrived there, and Vin Diesel's film came out, Fast and Furious. I'd not seen it. I just arrived there, and people were taking pictures. They were coming up to me going, "You look like that guy." I was going, "What, Vin?"
Yeah.
But all of those women there, they were. Some of them were thin. They were one of them. Two of them started fighting for having the lead role.
Yeah.
And it came down to the one who wasn't as thin as the other one, but her attitude, and she was more fuller, but she looked great. She just, her aura just flew off. Yeah. She had the lead role. Just her being herself.
Do you have a say as an artist, like what kind of models you wanted there? Or is it down to the video director saying, like, you know, you have to have a thin model, she has to look a certain way?
No, I get involved in everything that I do. Okay, so with my new record label, the girl that we found, Amina, she had styling. When she first came to meet us, she was in a room full of all guys, and she goes, "I've never felt that comfortable. I'm a father, I've got children, I've got girls." Yeah, and I said, that's how you're supposed to feel. She may have had a different experience somewhere else. It was different with us. Now on our video shoot, she had people, because our companies work with Boohoo Man, Pretty Little Thing, and she's going to be doing some stuff with them. But we put her in touch with the stylist. The stylists were with her, and they gave her clothes to make her feel comfortable. I never told her what to wear. Nobody did. We just showed her loads of different looks and then said, whatever you're comfortable with, this is the theme of the video, go with that. I have been on the other side of it, where I've arrived in India or somewhere and they've dressed them up. It's only one video. It's one let's just get it out, the one on the beach. Because even when I got home, my mum goes, "Hey, can you get the other?" My dad goes, "Sick."
That's what we need, though. We need more people making these women feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And not only that, but I feel like women need to embrace their individuality. So even with social media, so many people are trying to be like these influencers. Like, I need to get my teeth like this. I need to get my hair like this. I need to be wearing what she's wearing. But it's like, no, you look like this. You need to embrace what you are, because there is only one of you.
And even, just on your social media, you don't like posting airbrush pictures, do you?
No.
You want to put up the...
and this is something that I keep fighting with over the other people that I work with, makeup artists, models, photographers. When I'm asking them for raw images, they don't want me to put raw images out there. Yeah. And no filters, no nothing. I don't want nothing, because it's fake.
Yeah.
And like Tej knows himself, I'm very frank and I'm very honest as well. I don't like to mislead anybody. I don't like to give any misconceptions about anything. It is what it is. But that rawness, the realness, that is what people connect with. And it's hopefully making some girls that are vulnerable thinking, oh, it's okay.
It's normal.
It's okay to be like that, because it's such a big thing now. I mean, I've got a 22-year-old myself that, you know, constantly thinks, oh, you know, should you look like that? And I'm like, well, no, because, you know, well, why would somebody want to do that? And, you know, I've seen her growing up question a lot of things, but she's got to a point now where she's like, okay, it is what it is, you know. But we didn't have social media in our generation when we've grown up. So to us, it's very, and like Tej knows, I don't even like checking in on it. It's just, it's not something that it's something that we grew up without, and we're fine.
Yeah.
Do you think it impacts, like, the mental health of women when they see you?
Of course it does.
In, like, you know, let's talk about brides, for example. A bride feels like, if every bride looks like stick thin, I have to look stick thin. I'm going to starve myself. I'm going to, you know what I mean? And obviously starving yourself is not great. The perception of being like, this is what society needs me to look like, that's impacting women and girls, right? And again, you can connect the music industry, you can connect the real life women as well. Like, have you noticed that kind of stuff happening as well in the industry?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of people with... I've often had brides when I was in makeup before would come with the, you know, a magazine under their armpit and say, I want to look like that. And it's like, well, you can't, because that's not your face. It's not your body, you know, and that's all false anyway. You know, if you allow me to work with who you are, there is a lot more I can bring out from you. You know, there's a lot more beauty that lies within, but it's all changed a lot. It's changed significantly.
Do you think it's changed for the worse or changed for the better?
Oh, definitely changed for the worst. Definitely changed for the worst. Everything is... There's too much that comes with everything. Yeah. We've all grown up in a world where we were brought up with a simple life. There wasn't all this stuff. And like I always say, it's done us no harm. There's too much things to look at. It's people thinking and assuming, younger generations looking at this stuff on social media, thinking, well, maybe I should be doing that. And making people feel under pressure as well. I mean, I've had a lot of other businesses that I've worked with as well say, well, so-and-so posts like this. I'm like, so?
Yeah.
What's that got to do with you? It doesn't even tell your story about what you do. Then you're worrying about why you're failing, because you can't copy somebody else. It has such a huge impact. It's made like grown women and men question themselves about whether what they're doing is right, you know, because I support a lot of people in the industry as well, you know, that I've got deep connections with, but it's so powerful, but I feel it's being used in a very, very negative way for all the wrong reasons, not for the reasons why it was there in the first place.
You know how to, like, sorry.
Social media is a jungle, man. And
it is.
It is. It's like there's good sides to it and there are bad sides to it. The bad sides will affect your mental health.
Yes.
And we need to talk about these things. So respect to you guys for, I keep saying this, the uncomfortable stuff, bring it forward and talk about it. Yeah. Now, we grew up in a generation where we didn't have to do that. We was okay. We didn't have to, you have to look like this, or you have to weigh this, or you have to. Yeah. Nowadays, it's like that. It's like, no, you have to, you got to look like this. You got to look
fit
like
a certain aesthetic.
You got to look like her.
Literally. Like even with my Instagram, I'll upload what I want, and then you have some people be like, oh well, why don't you upload something like that? You know, your feed will look better like this. Yeah. I don't care what my feed looks like. I don't want to upload a photo like that.
But that's a great attitude, and you should stay that way. Be real.
There's lots of like pressure from society, and I feel like if you're not educated or if you're not kind of strong enough, then it's really easy to be misled, and then that's when it will impact your mental health.
And I think, and I keep saying this, like, look, I run social media companies, I've dealt with pages. Social media is not real. It's an expensive business card. You're using it as a marketing tool to kind of, let people know what you're doing, but don't let that take over your life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and there's a lot of artists, for example, they look at it like, oh, I got X amount of likes, X amount of follows, etc., etc. That's not success.
I have a saying on the music side, and I've told everybody that I've worked with, create the hype, but don't believe it.
Yeah.
The moment you start believing your own hype, you're finished.
Lost.
Create the hype, but don't believe it. In the entertainment business, that's the golden rule. That's what we were taught.
Right. Guys, so Haritika's jumped out. We've got Taran sitting in now. Taran, welcome to Brit Asia Podcast. What are you saying?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I was expecting a bit of a more, like, you know what I mean? Like, no, that's so cool. So, Taran, you're a makeup artist, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking about, Asian stigmas. We're talking about, the fashion industry, how, the attitude of, women is you have to look a certain way, you have to be dressed a certain way. And, you've mentioned quite a few things to me on, like, offline regarding, colourism and things that you've seen in the industry. Just kind of give us a rundown of what have you kind of experienced in the industry? What have you seen? What is it that you think needs changing in our culture?
Okay, cool. So there's actually a fair amount of stuff that I can talk to you guys about. I've not been in the beauty industry for that long. You could probably cast me as one of the people that is basically kind of aspiring, maybe working their way up. I have had quite a few struggles. Like, obviously, there's all that glam stuff that you kind of refer to when you look at the wedding industry, the fashion industry, beauty as a whole. But kind of growing up as an individual and starting off in the beauty industry, it was really hard. Just because there's big names out there that are already established, so you don't feel like you're getting a chance as a newcomer. You're not part of these cliques, if you like. I don't know if you guys have found that.
Do you know the funny thing? We've spoken about this, and you're really like, there's so many cliques even in music, and now you're saying there's cliques in fashion. It doesn't matter where in our communities we go to, right? There's going to be cliques, and as a newcomer, either you find a clique, or do you think it's fair to say you're done?
Unfortunately, that is very, very true.
Yeah.
And then you have to kind of navigate your way through all of that rubbish, really.
Yeah, I think you. I don't think you're done. I think you either get in with that clique, or you stay away from it and you make your mark in the industry. And I think for me personally, like growing up in my later teens, I was like, okay, I'm doing what I can. I think I'm getting there, until there was a point where I literally kind of had to take a step back and think, have I got a space in this industry? I don't know, because there's so much competition. There's so many people out there. But I was on a shoot once, and my friend who's a photographer, he said to me, he was like, Taran, I had another makeup artist in the studio like a couple of weeks ago. She mentioned you. And I was like, okay, did she say anything nice about me? And he was like, yeah, she likes your work. And that's, for me, my personal kind of feeling then was like, oh, okay, actually, maybe I am doing something right. I've got to keep going. Like, people are saying my name now for the right reasons, for my work. So I think it's, you either join a clique, become part of that, or you take a step back, look at what you're doing, and just keep going.
But also, being part of that clique does not mean it's going to give you long-term success.
Correct.
You're actually going to peak and fizzle out very quickly.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of strength to stand on your own 2 feet and say, I'm on my own.
Yeah.
And I'll fight against that system, and I will keep going.
Yeah.
Because I'm true to myself and I know what I'm doing is right. It's about having confidence. But the more you put your foot down and the more you fight against it, even though there'll be days where you think, oh, I can't do this, you wake up the next day and say, today's a new day, I'm going to come back at it harder.
Yeah.
It's about having that inner strength. It can either make you or break you.
100%.
But even as a clothing brand who works with a lot of makeup artists, and this is something that actually a lot of the big brands, and then there's little old me, don't actually help new up-and-coming makeup artists, don't want to give, they check their followings and everything before they decide to give clothes, or they'll say, oh, you need to give me £50 deposit and blah, blah, blah. So
that's so true.
When I have ladies come to me and they say to me, I say, so you have to come to the showroom, come and talk to me about what look you want. And because I ask a lot of questions, they're a little bit taken off about it when they say, I want to do a bridal look. Which bride? There's a Pakistani bride, there's a Gujarati bride, there's a Hindu bride, there's a Hindu Punjabi bride, there's our Sikh bride. There's so many different brides out there. Which bride are you talking about? Because I need to create a style for that. I need to connect with your vision. I need to get an insight. But all of that creativity that you got stuck in there, everyone I do a shoot with, I always ask, what do you want to get out of it? It's not just about me. It's about everybody else. And I've quite often seen clothing brands dictate to, especially up-and-coming makeup artists, even some well-established ones have been backed into a corner because they say we're bigger. And that's not really fair, because we've all got to our own journeys at where we're at now through our own hard work, and it should be respected. And respect is seriously lacking in this industry.
Oh my God!
You know, when you're talking about cliques, there, I've been a part of a few cliques. We sold a few million albums, but they were looking out for themselves.
Yeah.
And because I was the younger one, they never looked after me as they should have. The obligation was to tell me, these are your rights, these are your rights. But I never had that. So you're 100% right. You got to be very careful about what clique you go into.
Yeah, I completely agree. Honestly, the lack of respect thing you touched on is so true as well, because...
But do you think... Sorry, just interrupt you.
What's that?
Do you think that lack of respect is just in your industry? Or do you think it's just happening as general?
It's generally. It's not just the industry, it's generally.
In our community, there's a lack of respect everywhere.
Lack of respect. Yeah. Everyone wants to be bigger than the other. No one has respect for somebody else's work. There's enough out there for everybody. I can't do everybody's clothing. I can't stock every single style and type of clothing that there is. It's just, I just don't have the capacity, and it's impossible.
Yeah.
Absolutely impossible. But people don't want to work with each other because everybody wants to be, I'm the biggest.
Would you recommend a competitor?
Yeah, I've recommended...
Like, hand on heart, would you recommend a competitor?
I've recommended so many competitors.
Yeah.
I've had clients come to me lastminute.com and in absolute distress because something's gone wrong with a bigger brand in a high street. Yeah. They're now trying to salvage the outfit, source it. I've had brides with Mendi outfits gone wrong for their own Mendi function. Yeah. It's in 3 days' time. I have then phoned around all other business contacts that I think that I've put myself at. They're so rude. Why would you want to do that? Why can't you just come to me? It's trust. She's having a meltdown. I've done the rest of her stuff. If I don't hand over that trust, she's not coming to you. Yeah. You know, understand it. I've had other bigger clothing brands say, well, your stuff is very basic, and just send the customer direct to me. What kind of opinion is that? All right, you're entitled to your opinion, but basic is what sells for me.
I think that's so
and it's just rude. I mean, because he thought I was a lot younger than what I actually am, I just laughed in his face because I didn't know what else to say. I thought, I'm not even going to respond to that. Good luck to you and see you later.
Yeah.
Because if that's your ignorant attitude, I'm saying, because I don't actually sit there and design an outfit and move embroidery around and change colours. I won't do it because I have no guarantee it's going to come out that way. And anything I don't have a guarantee with, I won't go there. But there are people that have. And when I said to them, when I have a client that comes to me with that, can I send them to you? Or will you come and meet them with me so I can hand them over to you? Why can't you just send them to me? I'm not doing that. My wife's not coming. I'm not coming. Well, they're not going to come to you then. Yeah. Just send them my way. You can't just send a client like that. No. This is something very personal. That bride or the family member has come with something unique. They've obviously got something in their mind. It's not for me to disclose to you, but that's for me to do a handover. They're trusting the process. Yeah. There was this just complete, I mean, I've recommended so many people. I've even sent clients over to other businesses to say, well, actually, she's got something. What you're looking for, you can go and get it from her. It's going to take me longer. Just stop the distress, you know, for the customer. I wouldn't have got the sale myself, but that customer always comes back because they respect the fact that I genuinely understood their need. People don't want to work together. They just want it all for themselves, whether it's makeup, jewellery, clothing,
music, anything. I think anything.
Well, to be honest, music is, you know, I don't know a lot about it, to be honest. The only thing that stops my attention is when I think, well, the poor girl in the video is not even styled. I would have made her this outfit and I would have made her that outfit, and she would have looked really gorgeous standing there, and she probably would have felt and looked more confident in herself because she probably would have felt good and looked good. You know, our Indian fabric is so beautiful. Beautiful. A woman that wears it knows how good it makes her feel, from confident to sexy to showing off all her curves and enhancing her nicer features about herself that she wants people to see. It's really, really important, but that's not even thought about. It's just about selling. I want that customer. I don't want you to have it. I want it.
I'm going to kind of dig now because both of you guys, I know stories that you've told me off air about confidence. And this is something that we need to kind of address, right? And this confidence thing is, for example, Ravi, you told me stories where you said people have come to you and their daughters are getting married and their confidence has been shot down by your high street retailers.
Yes.
That's not a one-off instance. That's happening more than often, right? And that's down to the way the girl looks, her body size, etc.
Yes.
And I think people need to know these stories because there's people watching this who are going to be in the same position, probably starving themselves to be, I need to lose X amount of weight before my big day or whatever. Like, tell us these stories.
So I had one young lady in particular, who had done most of her Indian shopping, wedding shopping in Gujarat. She'd come back. There was one outfit that hadn't come out properly when they were couriering it over, because this is the risk that you take. When you go there, they say, oh, don't worry, whatever you've got in front of you is fine. We'll send the rest over. And you're thinking, oh, it hasn't come out how I wanted it. But they'll courier it to you over here. So there's no guarantee. There's no, you know, it's like, well, tough, you know. And she was quite upset about it. She's an only child. She had... She was she's very, very sensitive, you know, and really, really humble young lady. So she's come to a Mendi outfit and she's like, I can't get a Mendi outfit. Her mum's taken her to West London, to a high street. Shops have actually told her, don't come in because we have nothing for you, because her mum's a slimmer build. Do you want anything, ma'am? And she's like, I'm shopping for my daughter. No. Don't come in, we haven't got anything. Wow. Right? This girl was so distraught, she didn't come out of her room for 2 weeks. And because her mum had become quite close with another one of my business contacts, she said, oh, why don't you take her to Rami, because she'll definitely do it. And knowing that I've done stuff for her as well. And she said to me, I don't know how she's going to do it. She said, well, why don't you just give her a call? So I said to her mum, and I said, you come and see me first. Let's sit down and have a cup of tea. And we spoke for like 2 hours. She was like, oh my God, you know, I feel like I need to buy something. I said, why? She said, you gave me all this time. And I said, it's not about money. It's about understanding something's gone wrong here. And I really want to help, you know. So she told me the whole story about what happened and the fact that she was just told she was too big, that she just they couldn't get anything for her. They didn't have anything in the shop for her. And she said, but I don't know how I'm going to get her to come to you, because she now refuses to go anywhere. She said she'd rather not have the Mendi. She's asked me to cancel the function, full stop.
That kind of
right?
That's
Now
bad.
that is,
Bad.
you know, to tip somebody over the edge like that, it's like, how dare you treat somebody like that? How do you know why she's like that, or why does her size even matter? She's a human being.
Yeah.
But even if we don't aesthetically fit in, according to some people don't think that there's something else behind that. Do you understand that? There could be so many things. A person could have had a near-death experience and come back from it.
Yeah.
And, you know, they're just thankful for their life, and you're saying, well, you're too big to fit in my clothes. Go away, I'm not letting you in my shop. That is disgusting. So then I said to her, okay, I said, why don't you say that you've seen 3 saris that you can't choose, and you need her to come and give you an opinion for the saris that you've seen for yourself. I said, just get her to my front door, but I'm not going to approach her direct myself. And I said, when she comes here, then I'll take over. So when she came to me, I observed her behaviour. She was really nervous. It took her mum another 3 weeks to convince her to come to see the saris. She said, you know, it's not about you. It's about, you know, something that I've seen. That, you know, I like these clothes. You know, just come with me. Somebody at home, it's easier. So anyway, she came. And she's really nervous. She's sitting, glancing like that at the rails, looking around at stuff, and then got her comfortable. And I said to her, you know, and then her mum said, oh, why don't you have a look at this? You know, what if we bought this for so-and-so for gifting in the wedding? It caught her attention in the rails. She went over to them, started looking at them. She said, oh my God, this lehenga's so beautiful. I really could have done with something like this for her Mendi. Now that's it. I've caught her talking to her mum about this. And I said, oh, do you not have your Mendi outfit then? And she said to me, oh, no. And then her face just went down. I said, well, you know, if you like that. And she said, oh, no, you'll never be able to make it in my size. And I said, why not?
Yeah.
I said, okay, test me. Try me. I said, normally custom makers, they want me to put the money out front. I said, I'm not going to this time. I said, you want it? You just say to me yes right now. And I'm going to phone him right now and tell him to make it. She was like, oh, okay then. She really didn't think it was going to come through. So I had it made in her size, and she said, I phoned her 4 weeks later and I said, your package is on its way. And she said to me, I didn't even think it happened.
And that's the kind of mindset that somebody else has put into someone.
That she's so like, is not trusting anything or anybody, you know. And it's horrible to make somebody feel like that from that one comment that people have made. And then when I went, I said to her, you know, she said to me, well, do I need to come to you? And I said, no, when it arrives, I'm coming to you. I'm coming to your house, and in your room, we're going to try it on. And we're going to do so, really having to make her feel comfortable so that she's not, you know,
That's
I've got
so
to gain
cool.
her
Yeah,
trust.
100%.
That, you know, and I knew, she said to me, when I got there and I took it out and I said to her, she said to me, it's not going to fit me. And I said, it is. And she said to me, you sound really confident about yourself. And I said, because I am. And I said, if I say it's going to fit, or if I say it's not going to look right, that's going to look better. I said, you have to trust my judgment, because I have a vision that probably you can't see yourself in. So finally, she let me put it all on, and she was like, okay, she burst out crying. She's like, I can't believe it.
So cool.
Exactly.
And I said to her, you know, don't be upset. I said, you do matter. And regardless of whatever size or colour or anything else, it's okay for you to want things. It's okay for you to want to wear stuff. It's okay for you to want stuff for your wedding. Don't ever allow anybody to rubbish you off like that, because you do matter. That is a person.
No, 100%. And like, even with
And it was
yourself.
heartbreaking to see that, for her to go through that. And this is something that took me over 2.5 months to get her there.
But do you think, like, the wedding industry, especially clothing, right, see people as a number and a monetary value?
Yeah, they're chasing that one sale.
That's it. And
I
it's
just
like,
want that bride for her one wedding outfit. It's going to cost 3, 4, 5 grand, whatever it is. If I can get 10 grand out of her, even better. So, Shellonia, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Right? Not, you know, I've got bridal lehengas that I would happily sell at 700-800 quid. But a bride won't buy that bridal outfit from me just simply because
The name.
I'm not a big name.
Yeah.
But why are you going to go and spend rubbish money on rubbish fabric with embroidery that has no quality, that starts crumbling around you on your wedding day, but yet you want to go and spend £3,000 on that? That's stupidity.
They're more ruthless than some of the promoters in the Asian media.
Yo, like, honestly,
Wow.
It's, you know what, when you see them in action, it's horrifying, because I've seen stuff. There's no point in putting stuff on a catwalk and being the all big I am, but you've got nothing behind you. There's nothing behind. You can't even talk to a client properly. You're in a wedding exhibition and you're standing there with your hands behind your back and people are entering your standing. You don't even say hello.
That's
Where's
so
your customer
true,
service?
You know? That's so true. It's
What I love
happened.
about you is that you never even said, I'm going for the one sale. You're more than that.
and that's
It's,
it.
yes,
Yeah.
because it never stops for women.
Yeah.
You know, although I'm bored of buying clothes myself, but it doesn't stop.
Yeah.
You know, style is something. I've actually managed to get unstitched into the younger generation,
Right.
which is a massive thing because they think it's for aunties.
Okay.
No.
I
Your
love
mum-
a good
your mum
unstitched
wears-
suit.
Yes. So unstitched is the most powerful piece that any woman can own because she is control of how she wants it stitched.
Right.
Where she wants splits, where she wants a zip in the side or the back, whether she wants hangings, not a style that is enforced on her. This is one of the main things that I do with the personal styling is to do with the unstitched range. Unstitched range is much higher quality and class and brings out the individuality and personality of the person wearing it than something hanging off a rail.
No, for sure.
And Punjabis are about individuality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most
You know?
definitely.
Yeah. So I just want to quickly change up now and kind of talk about the makeup industry, right?
Yeah.
I know obviously we're not makeup kind of guys, but you know, we
Bro,
I'm sure he's had a brush rub,
the
though.
first time I was on a video shoot,
Yeah.
first ever time,
yeah.
younger days, and arriving, then somebody came up with the makeup thing. I was like, yo, what are you doing? And they were like, no. And then when you start getting experience and you see how you look, you see camera,
Yeah.
and the more expensive cameras you work with, then you're like, yo, where's that makeup artist? Come here, cover this over here.
No, like as a makeup artist, right? Like, what are the kind of stigmas you're seeing amongst brides? Like, there is a lot of kind of mental health issues out there with brides, right?
Yeah.
There's issues of colorism. You know, I've spoken about this to someone else before. The issue of colorism is if you're dark, you're considered to be no in our culture. Make that person light.
And nobody's going to want you.
Yeah,
That is
no one's
another
gonna
big
want you.
statement that
So-
is made.
Let it all out.
Yeah,
No
I mean,
filter.
colourism is just an ongoing thing, and I think in our community more so. I don't like, obviously, there's like a wider issue with that generally, but I think within the Asian community, the South Asian community, it's something that we really, really need to start pushing out because it's kind of filtered down from like the older generations. I think now this generation and maybe previous generation, they're a little bit more open-minded and they're not necessarily too stereotypical about how deep your skin tone is and how you like whether this person suits their partner. You know, sometimes at weddings you hear aunties say like, oh, bakke rang diya, like she's a
Yeah.
bit dark, and oh ta gora chitta ya, oh ta gori chitta theek ya. You
It
know,
doesn't
they
matter
look-
That sounds
they look
like-
good together.
that
It doesn't
sounds
matter
like-
about personality or the compatibility, but when you see them on the dance floor, it's the first thing you're going to hear is, oh yeah, she's a bit dark or she's a bit short. Like, why does that matter?
That sounds like a bad song.
Yeah.
It's completely irrelevant. Like,
It
it
is.
shouldn't matter.
It is.
But there's been times where I've actually been on bookings and things like this, and I've had like people say to me, oh, can you make me look a bit lighter? Like, and I'm like, why? Why do you want to look like
Like,
that?
Yeah.
do you openly challenge these kind of?
I challenge them.
Yeah.
Why should you look lighter? Why? That's your skin tone. Own it.
And what's the general consensus about people's kind of? Is it just insecurities of this is what social media is saying, this is how I need to look, this is what society says?
No, I think it's more so it's been ingrained. Like, it's just something that's been there in our culture, and I just think like it's always been like the fairest is the more beautiful person, and that's just not how life is. Like, no, everyone's beautiful.
So just on that point, right? And this is kind of a generational thing. Do you think like the elder generation are accountable for people's attitudes?
Fair
When
and lovely.
When somebody used to say like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that person's dark," how often would that person's family member kind of back them up? Or would
It
be
is
case-
generational
or would it
because
be a case
like
of, let me just agree with them that yeah, he is a bit dark, but yeah, we'll do it. You know what I mean?
what it is, our parents have like your parents are, I don't know whether they're born here or whatever because they're a lot younger. My parents much older. My dad was almost 80 and my mum's in her 70s.
Yeah.
So that generation that came over here, they came with all of those views. We're all British Asians, right? So we've got we're being brought up with different cultures and different people and different coloured people and different shapes and sizes of people. So we're like, does it really matter? My dad, however, was always very much like, it's about the person's nature, their habits, their mannerisms and everything else. Then you've got the older generations of like, it's mainly, I think it's ladies. Men don't make those comments. I remember growing up saying, you know, oh motiya, oda biani hona,
Yeah.
you know, oda rang pakka, eno kya cream laya kare. And they would say stupid things like that. But we didn't take it personally when we were growing up.
But
It was
now-
just the
yeah.
way it was, right? It was
Yeah.
just, oh, they're just having their own little fit. And then they would go, gym jaya kar, dauran jaya kar,
Oh,
park
I've
che,
heard that.
park che dauran.
Can I write that line down? Unke cream layega.
Do you know what? It's so true though. Like,
But
it's the
it
men
is-
don't say it. It's
The men
ladies.
don't say it, but it's the mums. But the thing is, they also are not saying it as a person that's grown up with those kind of views and opinions, I've changed nothing about myself. My dad was like, you are who you are. But then a lot of people say to me, well, you're fairer than most Asian women anyway. What difference does it make? And it's not like, I said, well, I have been much bigger as well. And I have had children and my body's completely changed and it's come back in again. I haven't done anything because it just happened itself. When you've got 2 naughty boys, it's going to have an effect. So, but I said, you know, when I was bigger, I would hear, you know, some of my masiyan saying, oh, tu moti ho gayi hai, or like, you know, tu lipstick nahi laundy, your husband's not going to like you, and stupid things like that. And
I've had that as well. It's so
I
bad.
don't care. And I was like, I
So
don't care. I
bad.
said, he's still going to be there. Don't worry about
We're
it. He's
like-
not going anywhere.
We're like,
I don't care.
But these are the things that men don't understand, that when women get together and where it's with the older generations, our mums and
dangerous, man.
mums and grands, and which will be your great grands now, it's different. It's completely different. This is the kind of things that they say. And when you've grown up from a young age hearing it, it's always there in the back of your mind. I mean, I had my own daughter, like I keep referring to, there was a lot of things where she would say, well, people are going to say this about me. And I, well, why would they?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, because she's grown up hearing the Bibi group,
Yeah, it's true.
you
It's
know,
so true.
making these comments. And when a child is sitting around, they're the whispers. But when they're older and they become adults, those whispers become louder. And they now think that in younger generations, in you know, even 20-somethings, I think it's worse.
Yeah.
Because it's quite a vulnerable age for transitioning and accepting who you are. That's where these things become more, a lot harder to deal with. A child younger is a bit more moldable. You can tell them something and you can make them believe it.
Yeah.
You know, so as a parent, you would say, well, no, you're beautiful. You know, it's nothing, no
course.
need. But if it comes out later in life, then there's a bigger problem going on there.
Yeah.
And so just going back to kind of your stories of makeup artists, right? So do you feel like it's your responsibility? Do you think there's not enough of makeup artists kind of empowering women? It's a case of they just, if someone says to me, make me fairer, it's like, okay, cool, I'll make you fairer. Like, do you think makeup artists have a responsibility to kind of champion these kind of, you know, inner beauty, mental health? Because there's not a lot of makeup artists doing that kind of stuff, are they?
No, I don't think there is. I think a lot of, and no disrespect to the people that are in the makeup artist game and what they're doing, etc. Like, you're all doing great, and it's great that you've chosen that as a role and a job. A lot of people do it full time. I don't. I do it part time because I have a 9 to 5. But the reason why I started it is because I used to get bullied at school. So I used to get bullied at school a lot for the way I looked, etc. Which is why I ventured out into makeup. Makeup made me feel better. It gave me a complete different level of self-confidence, which is why I started it. So for me, I was like, oh, it makes me feel great. I'm doing something good here. Had a couple of clients. At the time, I used to do Mendy. She was like, you do your makeup really well. Why don't you go into it? Like, make me look good as well. And I was kind of like, well, you already look good. You look fine. And she was like, well, no, like, I want to feel a bit more confident. So for me, it's been a complete personal journey. Every time I get a client ready, in my head, I'm like, I'm going there to your booking to give you self-confidence. You're going to feel beautiful. You look the way you are. Like, I'm literally just enhancing your features, what you've got. I'm not there to change it. I'm not there to change your skin colour. I'm not there to contour the hell out of your face. I'm not there to do that. We just want to enhance what you've already got, make you feel confident with it so you can walk out the door. But equally, you don't need it. I'm working with what you've got, and I'll make sure every single client of mine knows that. And I completely agree with you. I don't think a lot of makeup artists kind of do that. Some do, but I think it's like what you call it, like a quick win, like a short kind of session that they do on like social media, and then kind of fade away from it. It's not a consistent thing that is carried out through their branding. It doesn't even have to be a part of your branding. You know, it's who you are.
Well, the thing is, I've worked with makeup artists that, you know, one in particular sticks out to me over something like this, actually, where she started off her journey. I used her personally, and then we ended up in the industry together. She was customer service skill, you know, was impeccable, you know. As she got bigger, she became rude and arrogant.
It shouldn't be like that.
And all of those things that I was recommending her for, you know, they've gone out the window.
The reason I'm smiling, right, isn't at your story. We spoke about this in a previous episode.
Bad attitude.
Yeah, it's rude.
Yeah. It comes a thing of when people kind of make it.
Yeah.
The ego grows with their success.
You
don't forget where you started.
Yeah. When people,
you've got to remain humble.
When people meet me, I'm exactly the same as when I first started. That's because I've got good backing behind me.
Yeah.
I was brought up that way. I surrounded myself with people like that. But I've seen artists who their ego goes through the roof. people who come to me, who used to come to me and learn off me and study with me, but then the whole thing changed. They'll still say hello, but it's different. It's not the same.
It's not I'm going out my way. You come to me.
And the thing about it is, as with what I'm about to do now, the position that we've landed in with the record label that I own 50% of, all of them are going to have to come and see me now.
The ones that,
they're going to have to come and talk to me now because you see what I mean? So
I'm coming as well because I want to see their faces.
Please come. Come to Westminster. You're all invited.
This issue of, colourism, weight, perception, mental health, this is huge. Like, we can't cover this in one episode. And reality, we've only got 40 minutes on TV to kind of get this done. Like, I just need everyone's kind of closing thoughts because I think it's very, very important that there's people watching this show, different ages, like just from your mindset, like all these upcoming brides, look, what is your advice to them, like about mental health, about weight, about feeling good? Like, what would you kind of say to them?
About being yourself, stay true to yourself, be confident in who you are.
Yeah.
Where there is no right or wrong way about anything in life. It's about what suits you. And it's okay to be yourself, and it's absolutely fine. You'll flourish a lot further in life for being yourself and staying true to yourself as well.
Cool. And then Taran, just with yourself, like makeup's is a big, big thing, right? But again, like what do you want to say to people about colorism, about, conforming, about, making a stand? Like, what are you going to say to like the little girl who's watching something, feeling insecure about herself? Like, what is your message to these people?
And my message is you are beautiful the way you are. Own it, respect yourself, because if you don't respect yourself for who you are, no one else will.
And I'm just going to play devil's advocate here. Do you think that's easier said than done?
I think it's easier said than done if you're going through, like you said, a mental health kind of journey in yourself. Like, I've been there, we've all been there. Like, at some point in our life, I think somebody has experienced some sort of mental health kind of down or whatnot. I think you just I think social media is a massive, massive player in this as well. And what you see online isn't real. Isn't what you
being
see.
Airbrushed. You don't walk around being airbrush. You don't.
No one's airbrushed. I've got spots on my face right now. Like, everyone gets spots. No one's airbrushed. No one has perfect skin. No one is like as light as what they look in their pictures. Like, it doesn't matter. You're perfect the way you are.
And I just want to ask you, so just one last question. That you mentioned, like, you went through bullying.
Yeah.
And then obviously, you turned to makeup. Like, what is your advice to those kids going through bullying? Because of the way they look, And the reality is, like, a lot of Asians don't let their kids do their eyebrows to a later age.
Yeah, I didn't do mine till I was like in year 11.
And puberty isn't nice on South Asian guys. Let's be honest,
not.
Right?
Like, no, honestly,
let's be honest. Like, puberty is not nice on us, right? Like, what is your kind of advice to these guys going through it? Like,
Everyone goes through changes in their body. Everyone goes through puberty at a different rate. So I can't really comment on that. But what I will say is, if you're going through bullying and somebody's telling you that you don't look right the way you are, or you're wrong for being a different skin tone, or you're wrong for having a different belief, or you're wrong for being in this culture, go back home, whatever, all this nonsense that people say to you, ignore it. I know it's hard to do. I've been there. I went through that for like 4 years of my life. It was really hard. But if it's getting to a point where you can't handle it or deal with it yourself, talk to someone. Make sure you talk to someone, whether it's your sister, whether it's your mate, whether it's a teacher, your family, your dad, your mum, whoever it is. Make sure you talk about it, because if you don't talk about it, it's not going to get solved.
Yeah, and Hunterz, just a last point on yourself, like with the music industry, and you look at these models kind of coming into, like, what's your kind of advice for these models coming in? What would you kind of say to them? Because obviously a lot of them will look at what's happening out there, right? And kind of say, look, I need to look that way to kind of make it. What would you say as an artist?
No, be confident in yourself. Don't go there. Don't let anybody. If I was on a video shoot, anybody working with me, and who would turn around and say anything to any of the models there, would either say she's too dark or anything, I would send that person home. I'd fire them straight away. We don't operate like that. Anybody coming in, learn about your industry. I don't know much about the modelling background anyway, so make sure you're represented well as well. So whoever recommends you or puts you forward, you've got good representation. Some of the words that I'm hearing, I'll keep hearing, Remy said it as well, about social media and it's affecting mental health. You said that. So I just want to big up Khalid. We've set up Think About Mental Health.
No, that's beautiful.
Amazing.
Okay? Anybody can come and talk to us. Our record label is called London Inc. How many record labels have a side part that deal with mental health as well? People can, anybody, it's not just music, anybody can come and talk to us. I didn't know much about this. We grew up in a, you know what I mean? There wasn't anybody talking about and saying, your mental health. We had to just plow through it.
Yeah.
Now, social media has put pressure on a lot of people. And I'm saying to them, use social media, enjoy it, have fun with it. Don't take it seriously.
It's not life.
Yeah.
It's not real life.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And Rami, where can people find you? Because there's gonna be people out there who want to reach out. Just plug yourself in. Can they find you on Instagram, Facebook? Just let people know how to find you.
Yeah, on Instagram and Facebook.
The name.
I'm getting tired now.
Yeah, so Lisha K Collections, Instagram.
I
and
actually don't even know my Insta name. You know that properly. I don't
Really?
even know. Yeah, I don't even deal with it.
All right,
You
yeah.
do.
So guys, you can find Rami on Lisha K Collections on both Instagram and Facebook. Reach out to her. Her inbox is always open. Taran, just plug yourself in.
You can follow me on Instagram, Taran K Beauty. Simple as that.
Yes, cool. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. We definitely have to do a part 2, man. We can't get enough done in the time.
Big up.
But definitely, we'll bring you guys back. But guys, pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Thanks.
Cool.